Hello and welcome. You're watching the Newsroom right here on ET Now. I'm Ajay Sharma. Moments from now, we will be talking about the global healthcare and biotechnology space. Indian pharma stocks already buzzing in trade last couple of weeks now, with Radhika Gupta of Edelweiss AMC joining us on the show to discuss that. Before that, let's tell you what are the stocks which are moving today. Wipro clearly is the leader, 6% move coming in as far as Wipro is concerned. Giving company is TCS and Infosys. Well, the move have been triggered by the big buyback and commentary coming from large players and institutional guys. In fact, Abid Nimushwala will also join us on the show in moments to talk about how global spending on services is happening in the IT space. Apart from that, Kotak, ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, all of them are gaining smartly. So after IT, it's the banking space which is nicely trading in the green. Well, let's take the discussion forward. Radhika Gupta is here with us from Edelweiss AMC. Radhika, congratulations on your tie-up with MSCI. Big tie-ups happening in the matter of months. Earlier it was with the Government of India for your Bharat Bond ETF, and now with MSCI for the Global Healthcare Fund which you're talking about. Quite very good tie-ups you're forging indeed.
Thanks Ajay, thanks ET Now team. No, we are very excited about this tie-up with MSCI. I think, as you said, we've had a history of great partnerships as we look to build out the growing passive space. And so on fixed income, it was Government of India. On equities, it's MSCI. MSCI was telling me they have 50 years of experience constructing indices across the world. And I really think this tie-up will bring a lot to investors in terms of innovation in the passive space. Suddenly, the whole passive and index fund market will open up. And you already see some of that in this product because of MSCI coming in. What we are launching is actually, Ajay, India's first thematic index funds. You have basic index funds today. You don't have a thematic index fund out there. And now you have an Indo-Global Healthcare Fund. So it's a theme that people are really interested in. And it's a theme that has legs. But it's not just India. Now you've combined the best of India and the best of the world coming together in a single theme. So I think that's what the tie-up brings to the table.
Radhika, talk to us about the specific things about this fund. We all know that globally the two sectors which are really witnessing tailwinds because of the unfortunate COVID pandemic is IT and healthcare. And we've seen how Indian healthcare stocks got re-rated. But now you are planning a fund which could actually be a much more holistic approach if one wants to really play the healthcare space and even have global exposure. Talk to us more about it.
So I think, Ajay, healthcare has been a theme that has been an underperformer for the last 5 years. And even pre-COVID, we started getting excited about this theme in our funds. But with COVID coming into place, I think government spends and private spends on healthcare across the world are growing. And we really believe healthcare is now going to be a structural theme. Now, if you look at this theme, there are two legs that an Indian investor has to look at. One is, of course, the India leg, because India is a pharmacy to the large part of the world. We have companies who are exporters and, exporting generics to a large part of the world. And then we have subsidiaries of Indian global companies who are also playing pharma in India. In fact, we are the largest growing pharma market in the world, ahead of all emerging markets. The second is, you would have heard a lot under the Atmanirbhar movement about the government's focus on Indian companies providing APIs. So that also comes under healthcare, because it's not pharma that's the theme, it's healthcare. And third is the increased spend on healthcare services, which is diagnostics and hospitals. So that is your India theme. And then you have a second theme, which is global, because if you look at pharma, it's an incomplete, or if you look at healthcare, it's an incomplete story without global, because a significant amount of the spend in both pharma and biotechnology is happening in US and European markets. So companies that are in the pharma, biotechnology or life sciences space, in fact, US leads the world in terms of number of patents. So what we thought is we'd combine a product that is the consumption and growth story of India with the innovation story of the US, and hence it's a 70% India product and a 30% global product. So you'll have 45 names, 25 from India and 20 from the world, combined into, as you very correctly said, a more complete healthcare offering than just an India offering.
Radhika, I think your house, if I observe it correct, has been focusing quite a lot on passive. In fact, it's also coinciding with Indian investors, a lot of new investors rushing into the market, be it in the form of traders, be it in the form of investor folios are increasing, trading accounts are increasing. Do you think the right way for this new millennials investors is to come to the market via passive? And overall, what's your thought process of Edelweiss AMC towards passive?
So I think, it has never been for us about passive or active. It's been about bringing good, innovative products to the market, whether they are passive or active. And we deal in both baskets. I often think in this passive versus active debate, the first thing I say is it's very important in a country like India that penetration goes up. I mean, we're still getting people to open bank accounts and move to financialization. But within the context of passive, I think there are categories that make sense for active, mid and small cap, etc., where there's a lot of alpha to be generated. But there are also categories that make sense for passive. Fixed income was a play that we made early with Bharat Bond because we felt yields were going down. Transparency was important with fixed income and people were becoming more and more cost sensitive. And hence, I think our passive business there is about 27,000 crores in 9 months. Sectoral funds and thematic funds are another place where we think passive will have an edge for a few reasons. One is that if you look at the universe of themes, it's actually very small. So there's not that much room for active management. Secondly, passive can really bring interesting things like the global flavor or a more true to label thing. So you're not going to go outside the category. So passive has its advantages there. And then finally, if you look at the cost structure of funds like this, I think for thematic exposure, you're going to be paying somewhere between 50 basis points to 1%. So I think it's very disruptive in the kind of costs investors are paying for that exposure. So passive and active will coexist. There are some categories for passive, there are some categories for active, and we'll keep trying to do the best we can in disrupting the space.
So what lies ahead for you and for the house overall? What are your plans from here on? How's the growth been and flows, etc.? Tell us about your own strategy at Edelweiss Mutual Fund.
So I think it's been a great last year. I think we've almost tripled in assets as a mutual fund house in the last year, and it's been very, very broad-based growth. I think there are probably 3 trends that we are observing and benefiting from. One is the increase in products that are not passive, but I think, different kind of products. For instance, something like a balanced advantage fund at a time when people are worried about equity markets, but also want fixed income protection. So as I said, model-driven kind of products like this are doing very well. Investors want equity upside with some downside protection. So I think those categories are slated to grow. The whole space of international investing, whether it's through what we're doing in healthcare, you talked about technology, we had launched a US technology fund 6 months ago. So we have seen our international business triple in the last 6 months actually. And I think investors are looking at international investing as a part of their asset allocation. And thirdly is the quality fixed income space where, of course, we've done very, very well over the last year and a half, where people are looking to simple, high quality fixed income solutions. So the idea is to build good true to label products across the basket and take them to investors, and that's what we are up to. I think the MSCI partnership will be the beginning of a lot more work that we do on the equity passive side for sure.
Radhika, I know you conduct a lot of webinars, you keep talking to your investors and your distributor friends across the country. Talk to us about the feedback which you're getting from investors overall, because at the same time, when equities are doing well in general, other asset classes are perhaps losing their sheen. We're talking about fixed income, not so great, and with the accidents which happened, real estate clearly gone for a toss. Is there eagerness among investors to really deploy much more meaningfully into the market? What are the kind of chats you're having with investor community across the country?
So I I break it into two parts. I think the biggest thing that we're grappling with, Ajay, is the fact that we're in a low interest rate environment. And I won't mince words in saying that it's been a volatile 2 years for the investor community and the mutual fund industry, I think, post the backdrop of IL&FS. I think for the fixed income investor, the fact that a lot of credit events have happened, plus the fact that we're in a low yield environment, has really caused a lot of thinking to happen. People are, for the first time, I think, really looking at the longer end of fixed income, because with short-term rates at 3-4%, there's not very much left there. So people are looking for places to earn yield without compromising capital, and we are seeing interest in the longer end of fixed income products. On the equity side, I do realize that monthly flows are negative as a mutual fund category, but I don't pay too much heed to that. I think Indian equity investors have generally matured after 2008 and 11, and if after a March correction and a little bit of rally, they're ready to take some money off the table, rebalance asset allocation, that's not necessarily a bad thing. As I said, more and more, never in my career have I answered as many questions as I have about international investing as a theme, for instance. So people are also realizing I need to diversify my asset allocation. So I think those are the two themes: diversification of asset allocation and a search for yield.
All right, Radhika, we'll let you go on that one. Best wishes for this fund as well, and look forward to interacting with you much more often from here on the channel. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Ajay.
That was Radhika Gupta talking about her healthcare fund, which they are launching along with MSCI. It's a global healthcare fund. Let's take back to the exclusive which we are breaking, and my